Hello out there in YouTube land. My name is Kim, or Kimberly. It doesn't really matter, but I am Crafty Teacher DIYs. And Crafty Teacher DIYs, you say, why do you say that? Well, because I'm a teacher, a middle school teacher, and I do all the crafts. That's right, I do all the crafts. This is my dog, Sweetie. She is an American Terrier, and she is one that I literally pulled off the interstate. She was running across the interstate. It was 6 lanes, and I was like freaking out because she was about 6 months old at the time, and I didn't about hit her, but there was a lot of traffic there. So she is a rescue. And I also have another dog, Deuce. He is a Cavalier King Charles Spaniel. He is currently on the floor, not making too much noise, but you will probably hear them, and it is the 4th of July, so happy 4th of July to those that are celebrating, and you will be hearing fireworks in the background as well. So just know that if they run across the floor, if they bark, I'm probably not going to edit it out because, as Mrs. Crochet and Coffee will say, we got real life here in these crafty streets. So as you can see, I do have a house that is 3 bedrooms. However, this bedroom right here is my roommate, and this bedroom right here is my mom. So I have 2 other adults that live with me. Currently they are not home, so my stitchy spot, because this is my introduction and kind of my floss tube, is, as you can see, right there. I did get the Lowry stand for my birthday from my dad and my stepmom, which is I am absolutely loving. I just got the extension, so the arm is a little bit longer, and I got the light. Obviously I got the magnetic board stand, and that's currently got one of the patterns that I'm working on. And then that little craft stand kind of thing, that's got all of my diamond painting stuff and stitching stuff in it. I'm not going to go into too much of that because, well, I'm just going to talk about my whips and a little bit about me this time around, and hopefully you guys will stick around and come back, subscribe, like, do all those things down there, and come see and visit with me again. My hair is currently a lot longer than it normally is, because you know, we had a pandemic, and B, I'm trying to grow it to a length where I could donate it to be made into wigs. So I do have a lot of hair, unfortunately, so it's a good chance that you might see my hair come in different colors, particularly red, because I really like red, and it currently has not been colored in a very long period of time. So yeah, I'm ready for a change, and I'm ready to kind of yeet that hair off my head. I am a teacher. I'm a middle school teacher. I know I mentioned that just a second ago, but I have taught, and I can teach just about everything. I am going to be teaching social studies for 6th through 8th grade next year, which is also part of the reason that I have some conflicts with a few of the projects that I started, and a few other things that I need to think about and really kind of decide how I want to move forward. But I'll kind of talk about that a little bit later. But a little bit more about me other than middle school. I have taught 5th through 8th grade technology, IB design, IB mathematics, 8th grade mathematics. IB, for those of you who don't know, is International Baccalaureate. My school was an International Baccalaureate school for a time period. It is no longer. I taught 8th grade algebra, 8th grade math, 7th grade math. 7th grade, a little bit of 7th grade math, not a lot of 7th grade math, mind you. 8th grade science, 7th grade science, 8th grade social studies, 7th grade social studies. Next year, like I said, I'm doing 6th through 8th grade social studies. I was almost teaching ELA. The only technology I mentioned, Paxton Patterson, if you've heard about that program before, I taught that. Technology, typically, I'm pretty good with technology. My undergraduate degree is, in fact, in management information systems. It's a business degree, and teaching is actually my second career. With that said, I am a huge Chicago Blackhawks fan. I currently live in Central Illinois. I was lucky enough to actually be a season ticket holder between 2010 or 2009 and up through last year. So throughout their Stanley Cup championships, and I actually got to attend the game at the United Center in which they won the Stanley Cup. So yeah, I'm a huge hockey fan, and I do a lot of crafts. I started crafting, I don't know, probably did here and there growing up throughout it, because I'm one that I'm very visual, so I'm a visual learner. So typically if I can see it done, it can be done with these hands. These hands will make it work. So if it's got pictures or instructions or you name it, I can probably do it. I've replaced the burner on my water heater once before. I, made quilts. I made cakes. I decorated cakes for 2 of my cousins' weddings, birthday parties. Most recently, a coworker had a birthday party, and I'll try to insert a picture here somewhere of that cake. That was pretty cool. Now, granted, I did do a few things where I was kind of like, I probably should have done this a little different, but it worked out really good. And if I think about it later, I will share one of the stories from that cake. But it has gotten out at work now that I make cakes. So, yeah. Might be making more cakes later. But we'll see. But yeah, so I do all the crafts. I want to make frames for my diamond paintings that I completed. And with the mention of diamond paintings, you will probably see on this channel the stitching. I will try to do an update on stitching once a week. I'm not a super fast stitcher. I try to stitch every day. I don't always stitch every day. Obviously, I just started stitching in March, technically March 14th if you want to get specific. So there's still a lot that I'm learning and that I'm going down the rabbit hole with. So yeah. So how did I get started stitching? How did I get started with all of that? Obviously, 2020 was a year for all of us. And obviously nothing was open, which meant that my guys weren't playing hockey, and it meant that I couldn't watch hockey. So I had to find something else to watch. So I started watching YouTube, and I, at the time, was a science teacher, teaching, well, for the past 2 years, I had taught science for 7th grade and 8th grade. And in the process, one of the units is cells and genetics. So I started watching Snake Discovery on YouTube, and I really got into kind of the genetics of it, and I was like, ooh, wow, yada yada. I never did get I really wanted a hognose snake, and in the state of Illinois, I think you need to have a permit in order to have one. I need to look into that if I'm going to decide to do that, but I'm not teaching science next year, so I might not go that route. We shall see. But then I also thought about a gecko, but both of those were for the purposes of being able to use them as examples in my science class. So there was a thought process behind this, mind you, but it's just not where we're at. I was really big into playing Animal Crossing at the time, huge, like every day, 4 hours. That is what I did. I played Animal Crossing, and in the process of playing Animal Crossing, I started watching YouTubes, and I came across Rachel Ray. Somehow it was in one of my recommendations, and I came across diamond painting. Now, I remember seeing a Facebook ad for diamond painting years ago, and I remember clicking on one just to see, and I remember it being expensive. So I never got into diamond painting then. June of last year, however, started watching Rachel Ray. Happy 4th. My neighbors have been setting off fireworks for like, I think the last week. No joke. And it's getting to be about that time where they're going to start setting them off a lot. So I apologize. I probably could have recorded this at a better time, but you know, you just get the noise in the background. Gives you a little bit of added extra. So I started watching Rachel Ray, and through Rachel Ray, obviously I started watching Mrs. Crochet and Coffee, and Rachel Ray has kind of been the gateway to a lot of these different things. So in June of 2020, I started diamond painting, and diamond painting is very close to cross stitch, which most of us know. So I started diamond painting, and I have a lot of diamond art clubs specifically, but I really got into the Randall Spangler ones, and with that I started watching 4Kids at 147, because she is doing, you know, a Hey to Heaven and Earth Designs and converting it into a diamond painting using her spares. So I was like, ooh, that's a great idea. I'm going to do that, because no one's going to be crazy enough to do this stitching, right? Rachel Ray started doing Flosstube, and I was like, oh, okay. So I'd watch it occasionally, and see what she was doing. And one of the projects that she was doing, I was like, oh, that's really pretty. You know what I mean? That's really interesting. But I was like, I'm still not gonna fall down that rabbit hole. Although I'm also one that when people start talking a specific way or talking about things and I don't understand what they're talking about, I really need to figure it out. So when she would talk about the counts of fabrics and, you know, all these different things, I would be like, sometimes it sounds like you're speaking a foreign language. So I was like, I need to learn this language. So I did eventually learn the language, but it was only after. I also started watching Pippa Brown. And Pippa Brown obviously does diamond painting, but she also does some cross stitch. And one of her floss tubes, she showed one of the patterns that I was like, no, I need to do that. So I was like, at the time I had been tossing about doing a YouTube channel, and I was like, okay, I'll do a diamond painting YouTube channel, because Mrs. Crochet and Coffee, she does her 1 hour whipping chats, and I can do 1 hour whipping chat, and you know, and I was like, but I never did it in time for her her January introduction thing. I will next year, I guess. But what's hilarious about all that is I had wanted to kind of have a segment on my YouTube channel, which you guys will see, and I'll go ahead and I'll start doing those maybe a little bit, but one of the segments is kind of where I try different crafts, or I try to do a DIY, such as maybe making a frame for my diamond paintings, or cross stitch. So I was like, okay, I got this kit for cross stitch. I'll try it and see what I think. But then, I saw Pippa Brown, and I saw one of her projects, and I was like, I'm not going to film this because I want to do it. And so I did. So I blame this rabbit hole that I have gone down of cross stitch. I have something like, I started in March of this year, like I said, and I have something like 5 projects kitted, 8 whips, 1 finish. It was a small finish, but still a finish. And I want to do all the things. I want to go to all the retreats. I was so upset that I didn't know about StitchCon, and I was so upset that I didn't know about, you know, a lot of these different things. So when I hear, when I was watching Michelle Bendy, because I started watching Michelle Bendy, and Jessie from Mislaid Pages, she just gave me a shout out the other day. I'll share with you guys my what she was talking about, and I'll share my conversions straight out with you guys, because I didn't do it myself. I did have some help, but it's super amazing. Like the conversion worked out really well. So I do have 8 whips to go through, 1 finish to kind of show you, and kind of another craft that 2 crafts that I kind of did in the process, because yeah, I just had to do it my own. So I started watching Pippa Brown. I saw Pippa Brown do this. I started watching Michelle Bendy, Teresa Little Stitcher. One of my kitted projects, I'm currently waiting for fabric from Chromatic Alchemy, because I saw that project and I immediately thought of my stepmom. So I was like, I have to do that for her, and I might have to do it for myself again. I like it that much, but we'll see. So Pippa Brown, she started pulling out her projects, and I was like, girl, what is that? I need to do that. That is cool. And again, you got to keep in mind that I'm a science teacher, and one of the other subjects, or one of the other units that we had, was ecosystems. And in ecosystems, one of the things that they talk about are keystone species. And all of a sudden, Pippa Brown pulls out There Is No Planet B by Clouds Factory, and she starts showing it and all of the endangered species. And I was like, yup, I gots to. So I ordered the kit off of, from Clouds Factory, and I pretty much started stitching the minute I got it. I caught up in April, so I did January, February, Marches, and Aprils. I got caught up pretty quickly, and then I stayed caught up throughout all of it. So this is done on 32 count Picture This Plus Ariel. The colorway is Ariel. It is a linen, and everybody looked at me like, you're doing linen for your first stitch? And I'm like, I guess. So I also watched Stitcherista, but she's, again, been doing more diamond painting than stitching, and so some of my fabric choices were influenced a little bit by her. But 32 count linen in the colorway Ariel, and it is done in the called for DMCs. Again, I ordered this kit off of Clouds Factory. I will do what I can to make sure I link all of my patterns and stuff that I've gotten. I made one of my first mistakes. There's a miscount up here, and then in my poor whale. My poor whale is very individualized because I know that these light blue spots, these light blue markings, are not the way that the pattern calls for. But then again, in real life, we never have whales that have the same markings anyway. So I figured that works. So that is my There Is No Planet B by Clouds Factory. And I am stitching this in 2/1, again, the called for DMC. Now, I was also like watching all these YouTube channels, and all of a sudden everybody's pulling out these really cute project bags, and I'm like, I need project bags too. But then again, there's me. I go and I look at Etsy and I go, okay, I don't know if I want to spend that much getting into these projects. Okay, so I again found a YouTube channel that showed me how to make project bags, and not just any project bag, but clear vinyl project bags. So I made project bags to go with my projects. So this is my There Is No Planet B. I love my little koalas project bag with a clear vinyl front. But then I also saw on Etsy, of course, somebody making scissor fobs, and I'm like, oh, I really like the scissor fobs with the needle cut, like the needle protectors. So I was like, I need to make me some of those. So sure enough, I went ahead and I started making myself some little scissor fobs to go with my project bags. So I have about 9 pairs of scissors, but I got way more project bags right now, so I need to get a few more, make a few more scissor fobs. The needle protectors just come off Amazon. The beads, and those came from either Joann's or Michael's, and the fabric came from Joann's as well. So yeah, I'm gonna be starting to make my own floss drops as well, just because crafty teacher. I mean, what are you gonna do? I also bought so much fabric that I'm going to end up making myself my own I'm going to end up making myself my own Grime Guards for my Q snaps as well. So maybe one of these days you'll see a random video of me making my own Q snap for that, or my own Grime Guard for that. Speaking of Grime Guards, I can't remember where I got this Grime Guard from, but I wanted to show this needle minder is from Jessica Long Embroidery, or jessicalongembroidery.com, and I absolutely love the little otters, and my little otter in my There Is No Planet B is super cute too. So yeah, there you have it. If you, let me see if I can get the otters to be the focus. Focus on the otters. They ended up being really cute, and I was like, okay, I have to have those otters as part of it. It might not focus actually because I don't know that this one has an autofocus, but there you have it. My cute little otters. Again, jessicalongembroidery.com. If you would like some cute little otters to go with your own, because it goes with the otter that is in the project itself. So jessicalongembroidery.com for that. Again, this is just there you see a tail for Deuce, the Cavalier King Charles Spaniel. The Grime Guard came from, I'm not 100% sure where. That's Deuce. Again, Cavalier King Charles Spaniel, colorway Blenheim. Blenheim, I believe, is how you pronounce that one. So, he's a cutie, but also kind of a pain. But we wouldn't trade him. So yes, I make project bags mostly for myself. Although I did show a project bag to a coworker of mine, and she asked me to make one for her daughter, which I did do. This next one I have to kind of talk about a little bit, but I also have so much fabric from making these that I can easily make my own Grime Guards, which, like I said, I'm probably going to do. I'm going to make a Grime Guard for each of them. Don't know if I'm going to make an 8 or an 11 square, but we'll see. Again, these are just my whips. These are not going to be my kitted projects. I'll probably show you my kitted projects next week, because I guarantee you I'm not going to have that much stitching to show you. But yeah, that's just the way it is. So my next project, again, was influenced by our good friend Pippa Brown I of course made myself another project bag to go with this, and of course I have a scissor fob to go with that as well. I also want to make like these little dangles into like zipper pulls. I just haven't done that yet either. I got time. I can do whatever I want, right? But the issue that I have with this project is not that I don't like it, because I absolutely adore it. I love it. It's with the, I suppose you want to say, original artist of the art book that it came with. This is my start on the Harry Potter Stitch Your Own Adventure by Stuart Cunningham of Cunning Cross Stitch. This needle minder comes to you from Snarky Crafters, snarkycrafterdesigns.com if you are interested. They have most of the different house colors. Obviously, from what you could see from my project bag, I'm technically a Ravenclaw. I'm a big Harry Potter fan. I'm not like die hard, oh my gosh, it's everything in life, but I do like a lot of Harry Potter. I do not like J.K. Rowling's views on our trans friends. So I have to decide if me using fan art supports her. And if I decide that that is in fact the case, that fan art does support her, I'm going to have a hard time letting go of a few things, but yeah, I'm probably going to have to. The fabric is from Mystic Fabrics. The colorway is Mystery. It's a 28 count Lugana, and this is the called for fabric. It is done in all of the called for DMCs. I do have most of the DMCs kitted up. All of this over here is the Harry Potter with the required Harry Potter. There's some optional colors for the different chapters, but this over here is another pattern, or another pattern that I'm not gonna have. Hi, Deuce. Say hi, Deuce. He's always in the thick of it. So that is my second whip that I kind of got started on. I didn't do very much of it, and I do have a lot of changes that I did want to make, or a lot of alterations to the pattern. So yeah, I'm gonna have to see if I'm gonna continue. Obviously, I haven't picked it up for a while because I was trying to get caught up on There Is No Planet B. Then I started another Sal that I really got into, and so I was stitching on that a lot, trying to catch up, which I didn't do. I did get caught up, obviously, on There Is No Planet B. By the way, 2/2 for There Is No Planet B, and 2/2 for the Harry Potter Stitch Your Own Adventure Letters from Hogwarts. I got caught up on There Is No Planet B. You've seen through June. The July release has been let go, or has been dropped, so I haven't done the July yet. I am considering doing the July when kind of was doing like a 25/7 type thing that again Michelle Bendy did. My next one that I started, inspired by Rachel Ray. I really liked the idea of it. This is Apricot Polka Dot. The pattern, it's the Temperature Mandala. Obviously, this is done through July 3rd, so it's through yesterday's. And the temperature range, it's all the called for temperature colors. I didn't do any of the conversions. I'm still a little bit new on it, so doing some of the conversions is just not going to happen. But the needle minder, again, I know Harry Potter, as you can see, but the dark mark came as part of a trio, and you'll see the others from Nerdy Needle Designs. off of Etsy. So I caught up with my temperature mandala again. I started stitching, guys, in March. So help me out. Is that a lot? Is that a little? I don't know. But I like this. This is a cute, quick little thing. Like I hadn't done, I think I got caught up from here. I try to do a week at a time, and I do the high temperatures of whatever city I'm in at that time. So in here is Tahoe and Biloxi, and at the end of July there will be a Laughlin as well. So yeah, that's my temperature mandala, again from Apricot Polka Dot. This is being stitched 2 over, well, 1 square of Ada, if you will, and it is on just a 14 count Ada, white Ada. So that's my third. This is the one, obviously I started watching Teresa Little Stitcher. Somehow I found Pam from Stitching in the Land of Good Enough, and I like her kind of attitude. It's okay, it's good enough. And I'm like, yes. I don't have a project bag for my temperature mandala. Funny story about the scroll rods that came on it, though, is that I jumped down the rabbit hole. And typically when I jump down a rabbit hole, I jump down a rabbit hole and I like dive into it. So said rabbit hole led me to bring like my projects and everything that I was working on to my dad's. And my stepmom, just so happened, they've lived in this house for a long time, and I really don't want to say how long they've lived there, because that will totally age me. Not that my age bothers me, I'll tell you whatever it is, but and I tell my students all the time, but they look at me and I really like the impression that y'all think I'm like my early 30s, and I'm like, yeah, I appreciate you. I am not in my early 30s, just to let y'all know. But I don't have a project bag for the temperature mandala. And this is technically the first project bag that I did, and what's hilarious, like, I don't know what I was thinking, but I had completely forgotten how to do binding. So this pattern, again, I followed him off of YouTube. This pattern, I love the size of the bag, and the fabric turned out really cute too. But when it called for me to do the binding on it, I'm like, I have no idea. I forgot completely how to do binding. So I need to go back and revisit my binding issues. But I thought that was really cute. It turned out really well. And this yellow fabric just literally came from my stash of fabric from when I was doing quilts. And I did like 5 quilts, but anyway, that's the project bag that kind of came with it. I don't have a scissor fob. This came from these little scissors. I try to have a pair of scissors in each one of my project bags, but again, I have like 9 pairs of scissors, but way more. When we're talking about project bags that I've made. So Pam in Stitching in the Land of Good Enough, she was doing, she mentioned and showed this Sal by Pick Stitch. Justin Freeman from Pick Stitch came up with the pixels that made us. So this is the pixels that made us, and this is as far as I've gotten. I obviously I started way later anyway. I had gotten to about maybe 2 drops behind, and then I switched projects and I switched gears. This is a lot of color changing. Again, I'll put the information down below, but Pick Stitch, in order to get to be a part of this style, you had to make a donation to Child's Play, which is a charity trying to bring gaming platforms and video games and things like that to kids that are spending a lot of time in the hospital, which I am all for, because they all need something to do. So In the process, one of the things is that nerdy needle. Let me double check that that's the correct. I have to double check that that's the correct needle. Yes, Nerdy Needle Design Co. They and Justin did say that they had a. It's getting to be that time where everything's going off. They have a needle minder that's specifically done for this. So this is in the Sega font, and I will try to put some pictures up in the meantime to kind of show what some of the releases should look like. But 206 colors, so I don't necessarily have all of them, but what I got lucky on is that scroll frame. Like I said, I was telling you guys, my stepmom, I went over and she was like, oh, our neighbors, you know, they had lived there for a long time. They had moved, and in the process, she had given my stepmom like all of her cross stitch, or not all of her, but quite a bit of her DMC floss. And my stepmom was like, I haven't done anything with it, so here you go. So I got a large stash in the process. So I try not to pull all of the flosses. I started to just a few strands, especially if the colors weren't going to be very many stitches, but I don't know that I really want to continue on that way. So obviously I've got the black and the white, and I was going to just do all the black and the white and then stitch a little bit at a time from there. But I've fallen behind, and that sale is ending very soon. I've got the glow in the dark to outline, glow in the dark Kreinik to outline the letters, the gamer. And then I've got some black high luster Kreinik to outline our the individual characters. So each one of those characters, obviously, if you've watched Pam from Stitching in the Land of Good Enough, she explains that the G is, and I'll tell you guys too, the G is a whole bunch of characters from Nintendo. The A is from Game Boy, Game Boy Advance, Game Boy Color. The original Game Boy is black and white. That's why the first section is black and white. The M is arcade. The E is Sega. And the R is Super Nintendo. So all of those different characters are in there. So that's a project for my roommate right here. It's kind of a late birthday present, but I told him it wasn't going to be done before his birthday anyway. He knows about it, so it's all good. The next project is in fact one that, this is the one that Rachel Ray did that I was talking about, and this is the Northern Expressions Needlework Twisted Rainbow Sampler. I did get the one with specialty stitches. I started this at the beginning of June for Pride Month, and in the process I got stuck because, again, new stitcher here. I've only been stitching since March. Give me a break. I am using the Dinky Dyes silk conversion, and I like it a lot. My project bag for this one happens to be a whole bunch of butterflies. I thought I liked the black and white or gray, monochromatic, and then the outside being very colorful. My scissor fob to go with this one fits the rainbow theme very, very well. Super excited about that one. That one turned out to be one of my favorites. Again, I mostly got the beads and stuff from Joann's or Michael's, and the needle keepers, sorry about that. Had a little bit of a distraction, dog distraction. That's gonna happen. I'm not gonna edit that out. Obviously you guys can hear the fireworks in the background. I'm not editing that out either. I did get from Creative Keeps Studio one of the where you can wrap to cut all of your floss or silks the same length to hang from your floss drops. I did get one of those. I don't know if it's the same place as Brenda in the Serial Starter. Laura got hers, but I got one of those, and it sits with my Twisted Rainbow, or my Twisted Rainbow sampler, because I don't usually like to cut my silks, or a lot of my silks. I don't want to cut all of them like that, unless I like have to. So I might do it later, but for right now, I don't have them hanging from floss drops cut like that. They're all still pretty much in their hanks, kind of all together. So yeah, did I mention, oh, my gamer Sal, by the way, is being stitched on 20 count Zweigart Ada in the colorway Charcoal, and it is being stitched to 1/1. So this Twisted Rainbow sampler is being stitched 1/2. I am currently on, I did do the Dinky, or I am using, ooh, that was a big one. I am using the Dinky Dyes conversion. I am currently on the color Lemon Myrtle. And I'm doing okay. But hey, again, I started in March. Okay, I started in March. There you go. I know. They got a lot of booms going on, right? I am not at all. This whole pour top border is all just completely jacked up left and right. I try to keep this side straight, but this side is just not straight. So I can tell, I know, my frame it should make it super interesting. But yeah, my Deathly Hallows needle minder, it also came from Nerdy Needle Design Co. As part of that set of 3, with the dark mark that you saw on the other one. This perfume bottle, this actually came in a tin from Patty Wax when I was diamond painting. I had a lot of that. So that is my Twisted Rainbow sampler, and it is the same one that Rachel Ray is doing. Again, I saw her do this. I ordered the kit from, I ordered the Dinky Dyes, I ordered the, Dinky Dyes, I ordered the pattern from Mislaid Pages on Etsy, and or Jessie from Mislaid Pages on Etsy, and that's kind of where we are now. This is on Witchelt 32 count linen in the colorway black. It's just a black linen from Witchelt. So I know I've been on here a long time. I apologize for the previous disruption and the barking, but like I said, dog's gonna do what their god's gonna do, as Mrs. Crochet and Coffee would say. It's real life in these crafty streets. So that is what it is. I'm gonna save my best for last. The one that Jessie mentioned me on recently. Thanks, Jessie. So there's kind of 3 in this that I'm doing on this one. Let me show you my project bag first. This is my little project bag. I actually got this to go with a bendy sticky, I think, now that I got. It's got llamas on it. But that is my scissor fob to go with it. I liked this one a lot too. But yeah, so maybe I'll turn it around. You guys can see it a little bit better. But I have a lot of fun trying to match and pull the right colors to go with each one. But yeah, that one turned out cute too. But this one, like I said, I'm doing 3. And this was also kind of for Pride Month. Obviously, that's part of the reason why I'm having such a hard time trying to decide if I want to keep on with the Letters from Hogwarts or not. I know people, and I am friends with people who are part of the LGBTQIA2S+ community, and obviously being a teacher, it also, you know, I want to support my students in who they are, and I want to help them make sure that they know who they are and that they're comfortable being who they are, which is always hard, especially in middle school. But I had gotten this pattern, and this is not the way the pattern looks. I'll put a picture up on what the pattern's supposed to look like, but this pattern comes to you from Steph X Stitch on Etsy, if I'm not mistaken. It's done on just a DMC 14 count Ada white. I did for the called for DMC, and it's done 2 strands over 1. But she really had most of these letters be black, and I was not all for that. So I changed the A to be, you know, to include the trans colors, made sure that the A's both did, because obviously they're part of the community as well. And then obviously I have the rainbows for it as part of it. If you take a look over here on the sides on the stitching, it does follow the, you know, blue, pink, white kind of theme, even though it doesn't necessarily show up as much, but it's super cute. I do plan on putting it in my classroom. I waited to stitch this until after I had completed the Safe Zone project training for my district offers, so that I know and I can put in there that, you know, any student that needs somebody to talk to, I am there to support them. So that is my safe space. But on this, I did, like I said, this was kind of like a 3-in-1 kind of kit. I did start the intersectional flag. This is from Happy Sloth. It's also on Etsy. So again, 14 count Ada, 2 over 1 technically. In the colorway, it's a white, called for DMC. But this will have, obviously, if you've seen the picture, this will have the Black Lives Matter as part of the Black Lives Matter fist as well, because I do believe that Black Lives Matter. I do teach in a more urban setting, so a lot of my students are part of that community. So I do what I can to bring awareness to not only them, but the other issues that are facing a lot of the minorities in our country, because unfortunately what we've seen, I feel, is only the tip of the iceberg, and there's a lot more that needs to be done. And I'm trying to help the kids realize that they're kind of the ones that are going to be doing it. So we'll see. I'm working on it. But there's that one. I will again show you my kitted projects in another time, but again, that I do also want to have in my classroom as well. So there's one other project, like I said, that I really want to put in my classroom as well. So okay, here we go. Here's the big one and the most recent one. I did the Safe Zone, that Safe Zone one from Steph X Stitch. That one was a SAF. I started and finished the same day. So I was super happy about it. My project bag to go again with my rainbows. Obviously this was a June start, so therefore it was Pride Month start. I put it in the straight up just rainbow fabric one, and I really liked this green to go with anything rainbow. Guys, I got dog hair on everything, so I really liked this green fabric that went with it. But I keep these pink ones with my little flip-flop on it, and you'll see why, because my Q-snap has a Grime Guard that really kind of more goes with this. So this is, as you will see, Cute little project bag. Again, I make my own. I kind of threw this bendy flip in there. I also got this from Michelle Bendy off Bendy Stitch, off one of her live destashes. I also bought a couple other I got the 45 one from Bags Plus. I just ordered it straight from Bags Plus on that one. But I'm sure you can kind of see I have silks from Ymir at Almond M&M Studio, and Jessie shouted me out because I did a conversion to it, and she's like, I really like it, I'm gonna do it. And I was like, I'm a teacher, and we'll go into a classroom, see something else that somebody did, and be like, yes, I'm doing that. And that's just what we do. So we share a lot. And so I'm gonna tell you my conversions like right here, right now, so that you guys don't have to look at it. And I'll try to show you the conversion, or show you what the floss looks like as well, or the silks look like, because they're super pretty and they're amazing to work with. Again, I've only been stitching since March, but holy cow, these silks are amazing. I love stitching with them. So I really like stitching on this project, but again, started stitching in March, so I'm a little bit of a slow stitcher. But that's okay. I did get all of the called fors, so I do have a silk conversion. I don't know if I'm gonna go with that or go with the diamant. I do like kind of the pink green kind of shimmer that the diamant has, but I don't know if I'm gonna like stitching with that as much as I like stitching with the silks, and that's gonna be the question of the day. So I'll show you where I'm at, and I'll talk to you a little bit about, so that's where I'm at. It's turning out really pretty. Whoops, right over here. This needle minder is from Kim's Needle Minders. I got mine off Etsy. I got it to match the Grime Guard that's in flip-flops because, well, it's in flip-flops. So again, I'm planning on making my own Grime Guards going forward, but I really thought that was cute. And I really want to find a fabric like this so that I can make a project bag that is just straight flip-flops. So this is done with Almond M&M silks, as you can see, as I talked about already. And I'll share my conversions with you guys. The fabric is a Friday Night Fight Night from Be Stitch Me, and she didn't name it, so it's unnamed. It's number 305. So if you guys got a name for it, by all means, share it. I might just name it that. I don't know. But right now, I just call it the Friday Night Fight Night. It is a 32 count linen, so a Belfast linen. Again, Friday Night Fight Night, no real colorway name. Conversion to Almond M&M Studio silks, and amazing. Absolutely love it. So yeah, let's jump into those. I will tell you my conversions for this. I did cut these to go on a floss ring. Not all of them, obviously. Most of them I cut those that I knew that I would use quite a bit of, or at least most of the skein. So yeah, that's the way it works. Anyway, I don't have the DMC to compare it to, but if you look on my Instagram channel, you'll see them side by side, and they ended up being so close. There's only a couple of differences. So this is called Periwinkle Peony, and this is the color that I am using in place of 747. It's pretty close. The blue for the trans colors, and I really like it. I like it a lot. So that was Periwinkle Peony. And I do have 2 skeins of that because they did say you would need 2 skeins of that. The next one is what I used for 943. There's a subtle difference between this one and the other one that's used for the leaves, so I kind of don't always like that they're so similar, but it does give you shade and definition in the leaves, so it worked out okay. But this is again Emerald City, and you can kind of see right there it's for 943, which is pretty cool. I liked that one a lot as well. This is again the one that's like really close to that one, and this is called Seaweed. I use Seaweed for the color 993. And I like it a lot as well. Again, I am stitching this 2/2. No, yes, 2/2. 2/2. I'm like, wait a minute, why am I stitching this? The pink is for 819. This is Lily of the Valley. It is close. It's a lot darker actually than the called for DMC. But the pink is, I really like this pink. This is really pretty. So this is again Lily of the Valley. And that's, I substituted it for 819. And the last one on my little colorway ring here is what I used for 3810. This was so exact. I was like shocked. Again, I don't know how well they're coming out on the screen, but it turned out so close. This is Tantalizing Teal, and it ended up being so good. I believe I started talking about using almond M&M stilts on a D-stash by Michelle Bendy one day during one of her lives. She was there and she was pulling out or throwing out a couple of colors that she felt would work for, as a substitution. And Ymir was also there. So I did talk to them a little bit about the color conversions, but eventually I just ended up going through and I kind of did my own, and apparently they worked out so well. And again, they are amazing to work with. They're so amazing to work with. Ymir does an amazing job. That I really am. I'm thrilled, and I am sharing this with YouTube land because I am enjoying it so much that if you enjoy it, then so be it. Again, this is Trans Pride Tapestry. The pattern is by D's 20 Stitches, or D's 20. I wrote all this information down. D20. She's at D's 20 Stitches on Instagram, and the original art is Kari Nakin. Sorry, I'm sorry. I apologize for mispronouncing that. She is at Uncanny Kari on Instagram. But I am using, or will be using, this is Birds of Paradise. This will be for that topaz kind of color, the 725 Etoile, the DMC 725 Etoile. And I again, they ended up being so close that there's just nothing you can say about it. And then they suggested Ice Queen for the Diamant. Again, haven't decided which way I want to go. Like I said, I like the subtle shimmer from the Diamant, but this is super pretty, and I really like working with these, so it's probably going to be these. Just because I like working with them so much. I tried playing with the Diamant at one point, and I wasn't a huge fan of it. So yeah, that is all of my projects. I think I mentioned everything that I was stitching it on. I think I mentioned all of my needle minders. I do have a few other needle minders. Again, I will probably be showing you guys some of my diamond painting stuff. If you're interested, don't mind sharing that with you either. I'll try to remember to insert some pictures up here, and yeah, I'll try to also make sure that I link below. So some of these projects that I guarantee you will see again. The Trans Pride Tapestry. Absolutely we'll see this again. There is no Planet B. The whole thing that got me started stitching in the first place. Yeah, you'll probably see that one too. The Temperature Sal, again, I don't know if I'll show that weekly. I'll probably show that monthly, similar to what Pam from Stitching in the Land of Good Enough does with regards to the Temperature Sal. You'll definitely be seeing Twisted Rainbow sampler. I do, like I said, have about 5 other projects, kind of 6, so 5.5 projects kitted in some project bags for myself that you guys might see on the next one if I decide to start it. But I am a stitch what you want when you want kind of person, so I am not going to make plans. It's not going to happen. So it'll be a surprise next week what it was that I worked on, but for the most part you guys kind of know I'm not a completely monogamous stitcher, but if I get a hankering for a specific pattern, then that's what I stitch. That is what I stitch. So stitch what you want when you want. Have a good time with it. Enjoy it. Like I said, right now I'm a teacher, so it is summer break. There are a few professional development things that I'm going to have to be doing in the next couple weeks, so that'll be taking away some stitching time. But welcome. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you visit me again. Again, do those YouTube-y things like subscribe. Spread the word if you would, and give me a suggestions. So what you want to see, what you might suggest. I think I lean a little bit more modern with my patterns. I'm not a huge, I don't know that I'm necessarily going to get into the samplers as much, but definitely leave me any, like, comment down below. Please what like stitching retreats and all of that you guys recommend, because I do have a small LNS nearby, but it's not like strictly just cross stitch. I guess the closest one would be Inspired Needle, which again is up near Chicago, but that takes like 2 hours to get there, so I don't know if I'm gonna be doing that too much. But I also don't know that I necessarily have anybody in the area that I can, you know, meet and stitch with and that kind of thing. So I kind of sit here and stitch or watch people play video games and just watch a lot of YouTube. But questions down below, comments down below, definitely in your comment, please include any stitching retreats that you recommend me joining. I found out about StitchCon way too late, otherwise I probably would have gone to that. Anyway, we will see you guys in about a week. I hope you had a great time. I hope you enjoyed all the things that I got to show you, and we'll see you next time. And enjoy your time crafting whatever it is that you craft, because we all got something that we need to keep the peace and make sure that our patients are, we can all keep our patience, because as a middle school teacher, we all got that. So we all need those times to be able to sit back, reflect, and decompress. So enjoy your time. Please reach out. I do agree with Jessie. Make sure that you are taking any medications that you need to, vitamins that you need to, and make sure that if anything is going on in life, reach out, because there are people that will talk and help and listen to you. So you're not alone. That said, enjoy your stitching time, and we'll see you guys next week. Happy 4th of July.